Hi, this is Parth Desai and Manos Berlakis, and this is case 222 for the Manual of Percutaneous Coronary Interventions. This is a case of something not commonly used in the cath labs, but has potential for improving outcomes in patients with myocardial infarction, specifically SSO2 or supersaturated oxygen. This was a patient who presented with anterior ST elevation myocardial infarction. It was a left dominant system with a small right coronary artery. And we see that the LAD is occluded in the mid part. This patient had a previous stent, and this was a presentation with acute stent thrombosis. And we see here the trickle of flow going down the LAD, good flow into the circumflex. And this is a case where the patient had separate ostia of the LAD and the circumflex, which made engagement of the LAD a little more challenging. So we tried to get into the LAD. We used an EBU 375 guide, and we had difficulty getting the wire in. So what we did is we advanced the guide wire into the circumflex and then used this guide wire as a way to anchor the guide. And then we pulled the guide back, put a bigger bend on a second wire, and then used that second wire to try to get it into the LAD, and then it went to the diagonal and eventually is going down the LAD and easily crossed down the vessel. So this pivoting, having anchoring with one wire and having the ability to back the guide off without losing position, helped us wire the separate ostial LAD. What to do next? We have again a case of stent thrombosis, so we decided to do Penumbra given the large amount of thrombus. A lot of aspiration, we did retrieve a good amount of thrombus, and after doing aspiration, we did restore some undergrade flow. There is still, however, a large thrombus remaining into the LAD going into the septal, as well as a large diagonal branch, and distally, we don't have the best flow. So what to do about this large thrombus? We did repeated passes of the Penumbra catheter, although the Penumbra could not go in the diagonal because of the previously placed stent into the LAD. We also tried to do it into the septal, but again, because of the previous LAD stent, we just could not deliver the catheter into the septal. Nevertheless, we were able to remove most of the thrombus. At the same time, we gave a glycoprotein 2b3 inhibitor, which also can help with resolution. And we did an intravascular ultrasound to try to understand what was the reason for stent thrombosis. We do have good quality distal vessel, and when we look at the previous stent, one of the main concerns is stent anterior expansion, but this stent did not seem to have anterior expansion. The stent was well expanded. It did have still some thrombus. So this was an issue not with anterior expansion, but more of creating thrombus without the previous stent, even though the stent was placed a long time ago. And the patient had been on antiplatelet therapy, but he had stopped clopidogrel recently and was only on baby aspirin. So given the flow issues with the diagonal, we placed the balloon in the diagonal and did the balloon inflation. And that ended up being a problem because we probably displaced the stent into the LAD. And then when we tried to deliver the same balloon into the LAD, we had difficulty getting the balloon through. So we ended up rewiring the LAD, and eventually we got a small balloon through, did the kissing balloon inflation and LAD diagonal. And now we do have, again, a little better flow, although still we cannot get flow all the way to the distal LAD. We did more thrombectomy. That didn't help. We advanced a dual lumen microcatheter all the way down and gave a full 6 milligrams, so that's 6,000 mics, the full amp of adenosine in the distal LAD in the hopes to reverse the no-reflow. Another thing one can do is to give intracoronary epinephrine. But despite that, we still had significant no-reflow into the distal LAD. So what to do? There is the device called supersaturated oxygen. It's a device that increases the PO2 up to 700 to 1,000 millimeters mercury, so significantly increases the amount of oxygen that is dissolved into the plasma from 0.3 to 2 to 3 mLs per deciliter. So we did have significantly more oxygen, and there are some studies that show that doing this in anterior myocardial infarction, it can reduce the infarct size. So that's what we did. This is done by placing a 7 French sheath into the right common femoral artery. And then we're aspirating from the sheath. And then we use a 5 French diagnostic catheter into the left main to infuse the supersaturated blood inside the left main coronary artery. In this case, it was inside the LAD because the patient had separate ostia of LAD and circumflex. And this is how it looks like. You aspirate again from the sheath, the side port of the sheath. It goes through the machine. The machine creates the high PO2 in the blood and then returns the blood through the diagnostic catheter into the coronary artery. And after 1 hour of that, we did have a resolution of the no-reflow. We did have a T3 flow down the LAD. So several lessons from this case. The first one is when you have a separate ostia, LAD, and circumflex, wiring some of the vessels can be challenging. One way around it is to place a wire into whichever branch the catheter goes in, and then use this wire for anchoring the guide, so you can pull the guide back and forth and wire the other vessel with a second guide wire. What to do for stent thrombosis? We did thrombectomy, gave 2 B3 inhibitors. We did intravascular ultrasound to make sure we have no underexpansion, which was true. And then we also did thrombectomy with the Penumbra device because we had a large thrombus burden. Despite all that, we still had no reflow, poor flow into the LAD. We did give intracoronary vasodilators. We gave 2 B3 inhibitors. We did not give epinephrine, but then eventually using supersaturated oxygen helped resolve the no reflow. And finally, in anterior myocardial infarction, supersaturated oxygen may reduce the infarct size. Thank you.